Hi, I'm bigcal and welcome to my world. When I first started making videos for YouTube, one of the main reasons was that I wanted to get my opinions out on wrestling. Most of my early videos were all based on wrestling, basically. I had the weekly show, Weekly Wrestling Roundup, which you can see all the episodes of. There were 100 and then 10 classic episodes. You check those out over on wrestlingview.co.uk. They were all uploaded to Daily Motion because YouTube would remove them the second I uploaded them. But anyway, yeah, wrestling was my main passion at the time. Over time, video games has sort of taken over. bigcal's world at the moment is mainly based on video games. I was hoping to have a mixture of video games and wrestling, TV shows and films, and it's not quite worked out, although I am working on bringing a lot more film and TV show related video content to the site. But wrestling just... aside from written content, there's hardly been any, wrestling content, at least in terms of video, for quite a while. And the reason is, wrestling fucking sucks right now. It really does. We're just coming, almost a week now since WrestleMania 32, and people have been asking me to make a video based on WrestleMania, and I already did the pay-per-view ramble for WrestleMania, which you can see on bigcalsworld.co.uk. I also did NXT TakeOver in Dallas pay-per-view ramble, again bigcalsworld.co.uk, and at the time I just thought that'll be enough. But screw it, I've decided to sort of rant on wrestling right now, and especially what's taken place in the last week. So, we had, well first we'll go back just over a week to NXT TakeOver Dallas. I have never sat through a full NXT TakeOver show before. I've seen the odd match from NXT TV, such as Sami Zayn and Cesaro. Anytime William Regal wrestled, I would watch that stuff. The pay-per-views, the specials, whatever you want to call them, again I only watched maybe one match on the show at the time, usually something involving Sami Zayn, because Sami Zayn is fucking awesome. But, people have been telling me, come on, you sat through all those 2000 to 2009 pay-per-views and wrote about them, try watching something good for once. So they convinced me to ramble on the full NXT show, and I decided on the Dallas one. And lucky me, the Dallas one turned out to be pretty awesome. I just want to mention a couple of things from the Dallas show. Firstly, American Alpha. Holy fuck are these guys good. That match was incredible. American Alpha versus the Revival, the NXT tag titles on the line. Incredible match, felt like a really good classic old school tag that is just missing so much from wrestling these days. The main roster tag matches are just fucking shite. The tag teams we've got now are shite. But this one really, really was good. I really enjoyed it. American Alpha are definitely a team that I'm going to be watching from now on. It's probably going to be a shame that they will eventually move up to the main roster because they'll get there and just fucking die. But right now in NXT they're really good and I am definitely a fan. And then we also had the debut of Shinsuke Nakamura, his debut match on NXT against Sami Zayn. The fans were building this up as a big, huge dream match, and that's all fine and well. I never seen a Nakamura match before in my entire life. I've heard of the guy. There's been some buzz about him for years, and especially once he got signed to NXT, more people were buzzing about him. The match was good, I'm not going to deny that, but I've seen so many 5-star classic reviews for it and best match of all time, certainly the match of the year talk for it. Might be a little early, but let's be honest, with WWE right now the odds of many great matches coming up throughout the year are pretty slim. And that's fine, they want to think that, that's great. Me, not quite. I don't know if it's because I'd never seen Nakamura before, so there wasn't that big dream match hype surrounding the match for me. So, plus, I'd always heard, you know, and one of his titles seems to be the King of Strong Style. Didn't really get that impression from this match. I don't know if he was taking it a little bit easy on Sami Zayn, because over in Japan the Japanese guys tend to just kick the fuck out of each other and they don't really care. You definitely saw Sami Zayn, you know, blocking the shots more to, you know, prevent getting genuinely kicked in the head. That's all fine, I understand that, but none of Nakamura's strikes really seemed that strong to me. You know, he didn't come across as this King of Strong Style guy. A lot of his strikes just look weak, even the ones where Sammy wasn't, you know, covering his head and shit to block being concussed or whatever. I just never got that impression. But it was still a good match. I just don't think it was particularly great. I definitely have one of the lowest opinions of the match compared to what I've seen out there, but it was by no means bad. It didn't really get me hyped to see any more Nakamura. And then we had the main event, Joe versus Balor. Finn Balor. What can you say about Finn Balor? He has a special entrance at these takeover shows where he dresses up like a moron. And in this instance, he dressed up like a moron with a chainsaw, and it never clicked with me. Takeovers in Dallas, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I just saw this complete moron running out with a chainsaw looking like a complete moron. Once his entrance is over, that's it. You know, Balor is shit. He's the champion for some reason. He seems to be popular for, I'm guessing, just his entrance, because once the bell rings, he's just shit. Samoa Joe, I've been watching quite a bit of his stuff in NXT recently, mainly the stuff against Zayn, and he finally looks motivated again, which is great, because a motivated Joe is a great Joe. And he looked motivated here, he looked like a fucking killer. He was out for destroying Balor. And then he got busted open. And the first time when the referees, you know, had to deal with it, that's okay, fine. You know, Joe came back strong and, you know, was acting like, you know, fuck that, I just want to wrestle, you know, to hell with the blood, which, you know, was fine. But then it just kept happening. The blood kept coming and they kept having to slow the match down. It completely killed the pace by the end of it. And then Balor won, because I don't fucking know. It was a weird situation. I wanted Joe to win because Balor sucks and I wanted Joe to win the title, but at the same time I wanted Joe to lose because hopefully that then frees up Samoa Joe to move to the main roster. I was expecting it to happen on Raw, it didn't, but oh well. You know, because Balor, just keep him in NXT, just keep him there, whatever. I don't want to see him on the main roster because he's shit. So that was TakeOver. There was, of course, the women's match, which I thought was better than Nakamura and Zayn, especially in terms of the strikes and shit from Asuka. That was really good. I've not been into the Divas Revolution at all. I've just not cared, but that was really good and got me hyped for the three-way WrestleMania, which I'll get to. WrestleMania 32. In Texas, the biggest WrestleMania of all time, where they were hoping to get over 100,000 people. They announced it as over 100,000 people, but from what I understand it was more like 94,000, which is fucking impressive on its own. It still, you know, breaks the record for the biggest crowd they've ever had. But WWE like to embellish it and make things bigger than it actually is. Going into this show, I didn't give a shit. The card just looked there. They just don't know how to book feuds anymore. Everything going into it was dull as shit. And there was just no reason to care. But, of course, I watched the show. I even watched the pre-show. They put the US title match on the pre-show, the first match. Kalisto versus Ryback. And there were about 20 fucking people in the crowd at the time. Why put on a match when people aren't in the arena yet? Why? And it's not like they didn't have time, because that fucking pre-show was 2 hours long and they only had 3 matches on it, and most of the pre-show was spent, you know, showing video packages of the matches we were going to see on the main show. So they could have easily moved this further up an hour later when, you know, people were there to see it. And it's a shame that nobody saw it in the arena because it was actually a pretty fun match. I enjoyed it. It was what it was. You know, then the rest of the pre-show was bleh, whatever. And that brings us to the main show, the opener, the ladder match. Because these days you just have to have a multi-man ladder match at WrestleMania. Oh, excuse me. They just have to have this shitty ladder match, multi-man clusterfuck bollocks. And I hate ladder matches nowadays because they're just spots for no fucking reason. It's a bunch of guys diving off shit and hurting themselves for real for no reason. Okay, so we get Kalisto and Ryback for the US title in a singles match. And I have no idea why they were wrestling. I don't know if there was a feud behind it or anything. I don't remember the last time I saw either of these two do anything because I barely watched the shows. They get a singles match. Kalisto, the luchador, gets a singles match. Meanwhile, Kevin Owens, big fat guy, defends his title in a multi-man ladder match instead of a singles match against, what's that guy? Oh yes, Sami Zayn. You know, they have this 20-year-long history together. Teaming, being best friends, feuding all over the world in different promotions, showing up in NXT, feuding again. We never got the big payoff for that feud, so we thought, oh, you know, Zayn shows up at the Rumble, goes straight after Owens. Yay, we're getting this match for WrestleMania, we're finally going to get a big payoff to that. No, they decided to throw in a bunch of fucking idiots and morons and jobbers into the match and make it a ladder match. So, yeah, let's all jump off high places. Fuck off. And then who won? Who won? Zack fucking Ryder. This guy's still employed by WWE. I know, it's amazing. What does he do? He's in some shitty tag team on NXT apparently. But somehow he made it into the ladder match. And then won it. Do you want to know why he won it? The original plans for the ladder match were to have Neville in there rather than Zack Ryder. And Neville got injured. So they replaced him with Zack Ryder. When Neville was scheduled for the match, the winner was going to be Kevin Owens retaining the title. So Neville, the guy who was going to be in the match but not even figured in for winning it, gets injured and replaced by Zack Ryder. And then randomly they decide to change the plans to Zack Ryder wins the title for no fucking reason. I used this phrase a lot in my pay-per-view ramble for WrestleMania 32. In fact, it's the tagline. I've given the tagline for WrestleMania 32 as WrestleMania 32 brain damage, because that's what the fucking creative team must have for coming up with this shit. Whether it was the creative team or Vince McMahon definitely has something wrong up here. He's a complete moron when it comes to actual wrestling. He ain't got a clue. And clearly neither do his writers, or nobody wants to tell him otherwise. So we get Zack Ryder winning the title for no fucking reason. And that was that. Ugh. WrestleMania. What a fucking pointless, shitty match that was. Move on to AJ and Jericho, who've been feuding since AJ showed up, and they've had like 3 matches prior to this, so who the fuck was excited for it? The Styles clash. AJ Styles, big finisher. They've been protecting the fuck out of it in WWE, and by protecting I mean preventing him from using it most of the time. I believe he used it on SmackDown in his second match, you know, the same week he debuted, and he beat some fucking loser jobber with it. Then he used it against Jericho in one of their many fucking rematches at the Fastlane pay-per-view. Jericho kicked out of it. Used it at WrestleMania. Jericho kicks out of it. What's the fucking point in not letting him use this move if, when he does use it, every fucker kicks out of it? And then Jericho won. Why? Why is Jericho even wrestling? This guy should have retired 5 fucking years ago when he started sucking more balls and, I don't know, some ball sucker. So Jericho gets a big win at WrestleMania over AJ Styles for no fucking reason. And he does it cleanly as well. The heel does it cleanly. After kicking out of AJ Styles fucking finisher. I've got all my notes here, by the way, on the stuff I want to talk about. That's what this is. I keep looking at it. Okay, New Day, League of Nations. This happened because they didn't even have the titles on the line. They could have done the whole Freebird rules thing with the titles. I originally thought it was a 4-on-3 match, but they decided Wade Barrett's a pile of shite, so just have him stand at the outside and not even be in the match. League of Nations randomly won, for no apparent reason. And then what happens? Shawn Michaels, Mick Foley and Steve Austin come out and beat the fuck out of them all. So why even have them win? What was the point? It doesn't do anything. Oh look, they just won a match at WrestleMania with the tag team champions with the titles not on the line. Oh, now a bunch of OAP legends are beating the shit out of them. Yay! Is that the best they could come up with for the use of these guys? Mick Foley, Shawn Michaels and Steve Austin? Brain damage. Brain fucking damage. We had Lesnar and Ambrose in a street fight, and Lesnar was Lesnar doing his suplex shit. Ambrose was less than Ambrose normally is. He's supposed to be this lunatic who'll take the biggest shit kicking ever and keep getting back up. Except he didn't in this match. It went like 12 minutes long, one F5 on some chairs in the ring, and that's him dead forever. He doesn't even appear on Raw, he's that dead. Why did that match even have to take place? It was pointless. It didn't do anything for Lesnar, it sure as fuck didn't do anything for Ambrose. It made Ambrose look worse. Women's three-way. Like I said, I've never bought into this whole Divas Revolution. I just not cared. I didn't care to watch it. I had no interest. Then I saw the Asuka Bayley match at the NXT TakeOver show. That was really fucking good. It's like, okay, this match had to be good. The three-way was really fucking good. I really enjoyed it. In fact, match of the night for WrestleMania was a women's title three-way match. That in itself baffles me, that the best match at a WrestleMania was a three-way for the women's title. I'd never thought I would say that, but it's true. And, true, the rest of the card was pretty shitty, but it still doesn't take away from the fact that three women had a tremendous fucking match at a WrestleMania, and it was the best match of the night. So, yay, that was positive. Although everyone's saying that Sasha should have won and had a big WrestleMania moment. I've not really been following any of this stuff, so it didn't really matter to me. But I did think that they probably should have had a title change. But no, Charlotte returned. She gets the new Women's Championship, which they finally brought back, which is very good because the Divas shit was just kind of, they're on about Divas Revolution and all this, and just the word diva kind of was like hypocritical. Like, oh yeah, we have these strong, powerful women fighting, having these tremendous matches over this title, and the title's a big fucking pink butterfly, and they call themselves divas. Didn't match up. Now they are women fighting for the Women's Championship, which is essentially the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, but a bit smaller with a white belt instead of a black one. That makes more sense. That makes the women look more credible and look them on more equal terms with the men, when in actual fact a lot of these women apparently are better than the men. So that was a positive for WrestleMania. And then we move on to the Hell in a Cell match, and this was weird. It's odd build-up that didn't make any sense. Shane McMahon came back and got one of the biggest fucking pops I've ever heard. People were excited again. And Shane won his match at WrestleMania. He gets to take over Raw, which apparently, according to Vince, basically means he controls the entire company. Why he couldn't have come back and said, I want to take over the company, I don't know. They just said Raw, and then apparently that Raw means everything else, because everything else is nothing. Anyway, Shane comes back, if he wins his match, he takes over and, takes the company in a new direction. Fans are like, yes, finally, we get rid of the fucking authority, Shane's going to be there, it's going to be awesome. And then they put him against The Undertaker, one of the biggest baby faces and the biggest legends in the history of wrestling. At WrestleMania, in a Hell in a Cell match, Undertaker's match at WrestleMania, Undertaker's show, he's only lost once to Brock fucking Lesnar, the one man on the planet you could believe would end the streak. So, are we supposed to cheer Undertaker still because it's The Undertaker? But then if he beats Shane, Shane doesn't win, doesn't get to control the company and take it in a new direction. But then if Shane wins, he takes over and that's great. But The Undertaker's not allowed to wrestle at WrestleMania anymore. And who do I cheer for in this match? Again, brain damage. The booking of this was just brain damage. The actual match itself, I had fun with it because it was Undertaker and Shane at WrestleMania, Hell in a Cell. But it was kind of weird. I mean, Shane McMahon, a non-wrestler, within a few minutes of the match was kicking out of a fucking last ride. Shane McMahon, a non-wrestler, kicking out of a last ride. Even when Undertaker hit this on wrestlers at WrestleMania, it was usually sort of like halfway into the match or the finishing stretch at the end, so big kick out. Shane just casually did it like 3 minutes into the fucking match. Chokeslam on the steel steps. No, Shane can kick out of that. The one major thing I think we got out of this match was Shane showing that he still has gigantic balls, jumping off the top of the cell, which by the way is bigger than the cells used to be when Mick Foley was jumping off them. He dove off through the table, incredible spot, didn't need to happen, but it did. It was cool looking, and you know, Shane ends up losing, Undertaker wins, still wrestles at WrestleMania. Shane goes away or something. I don't know. It didn't make any sense. There was no real winner in that match. It was just a WrestleMania spectacle. Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. We're only on to the third year of this thing and WWE are already bored with it. It's one of those things where when it first happened, Vince was probably all, yes, we're going to have Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. It's going to be great. We're going to pay tribute to Andre the Giant, the first Hall of Famer, you know, the best giant in the industry. You know, it was part of WrestleMania 3, the biggest match ever with Hogan. It was fantastic and great. Andre's the man. We're going to have this big battle royal. The winner's going to win it in memorial of Andre, and that's fantastic. 3 years in, and Vince is like, ugh, do we really have to do that battle royal thing? Just what's the point? You know, he's given up on it already after 3 years. There's barely been any build-up. You know, there's a bunch of nobodies in the match. Shaquille O'Neal coming in was kind of cool. You know, and then he was gone. And Baron Corbin wins it. You know, seriously, who thought this guy coming up to the main roster was a good idea, and who thought him winning at WrestleMania was good? Baron Corbin is shit. The reason he's been on NXT for like this entire time without getting moved up while everyone else has gone up to the main roster is because he's shit. He's boring. He's boring Corbin. He wins for no fucking reason and nobody gives a shit because he's shit. Speaking of shit, The Rock showed up, of course, and they've been teasing doing something big at WrestleMania, a big special announcement, and that was a fake number for how many fans were in attendance. Then the Wyatts show up, who for some reason weren't the WrestleMania card to begin with. Like, oh, we're going to beat you up, Rock. And Rock's like, ha, screw you, I have wrestling gear on. Takes off his clothes and he's got a pair of trunks on. And then he has a 6-second match with Eric Rowan for no fucking reason. It doesn't help anybody at all. It just buries the fucking Wyatt family, who, let's face it, are already about 150 feet under at the moment due to all the burials they keep getting. It was just fucking shit. Rock blabbered on for too long, and then Wyatt's blabbered on for too long. Then they had a 6-second utter pointless shitty fucking match for absolutely no reason. And then John Cena shows up and helps The Rock, and then that's that. Did we really need that to ever happen? Seriously, just go do your films. That's fine. You're doing well over there. Stay the fuck over there. We don't need you here, because every time you come, you do fuck all to help. I'll wrestle the top star of the company, because that will help things. No, John Cena didn't need to wrestle you that time. Alright, I'll come back and I'll bury this guy in 6 seconds. I'll fucking hell. Piss off, you cunt. Brain damage. And speaking of brain damage, we have the main event. Triple H versus Roman Reigns for the WWE, that title thing. Nobody likes Roman Reigns. The fans do not fucking like Roman Reigns. And yet Vince McMahon is obsessed with pushing him down our fucking throats for the last 2 years. And he's just like, screw it, I'm going with him. And just pushing him anyway. Triple H is supposed to be a big bad heel. Yet he's constantly pandering to the fucking fans. So him, you know, basically the babyface of the whole situation, isn't doing a damn thing to help Roman Reigns. They have some shitty match for however long. Roman wins the title for the 3rd fucking time, by the way. It's not like his big, first ever title win. This is his 3rd win in 6 months, and nobody gives a shit. The crowd barely reacted, and then they ended up having to show video footage of fireworks going on outside the arena because the fans were bored. And that's how you end the biggest WrestleMania of all time. And then the next night on Raw, we have Raw after WrestleMania. It's always the most sort of energetic, exciting, typically WrestleMania Raw of the year, because you still have the WrestleMania crowd. Because most of the time, when people from all around the world, they buy the WrestleMania tickets, they get the Hall of Fame, they also get the Raw show. And seriously, the commentators at the start of the show are basically like, yeah, we know all these fans, they're just making excuses. They just hate our fun, Maggle. Oh, piss off, JBL, you hat-wearing nonce. They're just burying the crowd. Let's see, the crowd are cheering for the people they like and booing the cunts that you want us to like, but are so shit, we don't like them. And you're making excuses claiming they just do what they want. They're having fun. Piss off. So what happened on Raw? Oh, remember Zack Ryder, who randomly won the Intercontinental Championship in that ladder match clusterfuck? And he won it because the guy who wasn't supposed to win the match got injured, couldn't be in the match, so they replaced him with Zack Ryder. Zack Ryder won it for no fucking reason. Well, shock and horror, he lost it straight away on Raw to The Miz. Jesus Christ, the fucking Miz. Why is that guy still employed? These two should be in a shitty tag team on NXT together. Just get rid of them or something. Oh, League of Nations, they just had that big win at WrestleMania, so what did they do? Come out and kick Wade Barrett out because he's the weak link. Oh yeah, they wrestle New Day again with the tag titles on the line, and this time they lose because... Why? What was the point of the win at WrestleMania? So they won at WrestleMania in a non-title match, get beat up by 3 old legends, show up on Raw for the tag titles this time, lose, kick out Wade Barrett, and then the Wyatts randomly show up and attack them for no fucking reason. The brain damage has continued over onto Raw. Baron Corbin, the boring bastard that he is, and Dolph Ziggler. Yeah, that'll be a fun match. Corbin can't even beat Ziggler. He won the Andre the Giant Battle Royal at WrestleMania, shows up on Raw, can't beat fucking Ziggler. What's going to happen now? These two are going to feud, and they're going to do essentially what Owens and Ziggler did. They're just going to keep beating each other randomly 1 billion times before WWE gets bored and books them against someone else. And AJ Styles wins the #1 contendership for the world title against Roman Reigns. And he actually wins with a Styles Clash. The night after WrestleMania where he fucking lost for no fucking reason to Chris. Why the fuck aren't you retired yet, Jericho? And Cesaro returned as well for no fucking reason. So, that'll get a pop from these unusual fans at the Raw. And throughout this whole thing, by the way, Shane McMahon, who lost at WrestleMania, was given control of Raw that night by Vince McMahon. And did nothing. We didn't see him again. Why even fucking bother? What was the point? Brain damage. the one good thing to come out of Raw was Kevin Owens attacked Sami Zayn, put him through a table and injured him. So this means we're finally going to get their big one-on-one main roster feud, and hopefully we'll get some pay-per-view matches out of it, and it'll be incredible, and it'll be the only thing worth watching the show for. The SmackDown spoilers as well. I mentioned Dean Ambrose. He didn't even show up on Raw after the beating he took from Lesnar, which was lame as shit. And what's he doing next? It looks like they're teasing his feud with Chris Jericho, the old bastard who just doesn't seem to want to fucking retire. And that's modern wrestling for you. Utter shite. Just fuck off. It's atrocious. Booking is brain damaged. Matches are brain damaged. Does anyone know how to have a fucking wrestling match anymore? If they're not doing some crazy high spot, then what they're doing is kicking out of each other's finisher for 10 fucking minutes and calling it a 5-star classic. Piss off. Ugh. I used to love wrestling. Wrestling was my absolute passion. I own so many DVDs of wrestling, whether it be the official WWE DVDs, pay-per-views, documentaries, specials, things like that. And then over 1,000 not-so-official DVDs and compilations of mainly wrestlers from the 80s who were actually fucking good. And I could just sit every day I would watch a few hours of wrestling matches from someone at some particular time. That's what I would do. I loved it. Now, the most wrestling I watch is when I skip through Raw and maybe see 10 minutes of the show. That's it. There's just nothing worth seeing anymore. None of the other promotions are certainly worth seeing. TNA, they're still fucking about. Does anyone care about TNA? Really? What are they even doing? Ring of Honor, they haven't been fucking good since Danielson and McGuinness left. Lucha Underground, no, that is not wrestling. That is not wrestling. It isn't. It's just a random TV show about wrestling. It's not actual wrestling. New Japan, fuck off. If Nakamura is anything to go by, I'll probably watch New Japan and just not be impressed by fucking anybody. So we're stuck with WWE, and I watch it out of nothing but habit for the fact that I've been watching it my entire life. That's it. There are a couple of guys who I like, I'll try and watch for, but most of the time they're just booked with brain damage. And it just makes it harder and harder to like anyone new, and wrestling, what happened to you? How do you take something that I used to love so much and was so passionate about? I was literally obsessed with wrestling for so long. And over the last few years, you've just been cutting away at my passion for wrestling, and now I'm just pile of body parts bleeding out on the floor wondering what the fuck happened. What happened? Brain damage happened. I'm bigcal, thanks for watching. Hopefully you'll never see another one of these wrestling rant videos again, because fuck wrestling!